Welcome to our Gemara Shir. We are going to learn today again more about astrology, mazel, a person's fate. How much do we believe in that, or do we believe in that in Yiddishkeit, in Judaism? And we're going to tell you three different stories from the Gemara that exemplify the idea of Ein Mazel Yisrael, which means that Israel are above the mazel. Let's start. We are in Shabbos Kuf Nun Vav Amud Aleph, which is one daf before the last daf of Shabbos, the penultimate daf. Itmar Rabbi Chanina, this shears Le'ilu Nishmas, my father Menachem ben Akiva, and for the very, very quick release of the hostages. Itmar, Rabbi Chanina Oimer, Rabbi Chanina says, yeah, you have it. It's about 10 lines from the bottom of the page. Kuf Nun Vav Amud Aleph. Rabbi Chanina Omer, Mazel Machki, Mazel Mashir. Mazel means the star you're born under, the constellation you're born under. Machki makes you smart or rich. Yesh Mazel Yisrael. Yesh Mazel Yisrael. Not everybody knows there is such an opinion, the opinion of Rabbi Chanina, that says that a Jew is affected by Mazel. Rashi uses very strong words. Rashi says, Ish Mazel Yisrael ain't tefillah tzedakah v'shanis Mazel. Wow. As much as we believe in the power of tefillah, in the power of teshuvah, mitzvahs, or tzedakah, but a mazel destination doesn't change as a result of that. Yeah, maybe a gezerah, all kinds of schar v'oinish business, a good year, a bad year, but the mazel you're born under, that does not change according to your actions or tefillah. That is the unique sheet of Rabbi Chanina. However, many Amoraim argue on that. They argue with Rabbi Chanina on that point. Rabbi Yochanan is the first one. Omer en mazel Yisrael. Rashi alidei tefillah v'zchus mishtane mazal l'toivo. Right? In other words, this is a very, very misunderstood. It's a big misconception in Jewish culture. When you talk to people about the concept of mazel, they tell you, no, en mazel Yisrael. We don't believe in this nonsense of astrology or mazel or stars. It's not what the Gemara says. I'm not pro or against astrology. The Gemara doesn't say that. Ein mazel Yisrael, according to Rashi and according to the following stories, means that there is mazel, there is a certain fate or destination, but it can change. That's a difference between Israel and the non-Jews. Because we are Israel, very good. Exactly. This is what the amazing Akiva says over here. Not me, the other Akiva. And mazel Yisrael, there is no mazel, means you can change your mazel through Torah Ma'asim Tovim. Yes, there is a destination and fate and, some kind of roadmap of your life, but you can change that because you're closer to Hashem more than the mazel is. Rabbi Yochanan follows his own reasoning. Rabbi Yochanan said on a different topic, how do you know that Israel have no mazel? Shenemar, Koi Omer Hashem, El Derech HaGoyim Al Tilmedu. Don't learn from the ways of the Goyim. Moises HaShamayim Al Techatu. Don't be scared of the signs of the heaven. The heavenly signs don't mean much to you. Why? Ki Echatu HaGoyim Mehema. The Goyim should be scared of them, should fear what's going on in the celestial powers. Hem Yechatu V'lo Yisrael. Only they should fear, but not Israel. This is the diuk. Why? It doesn't mean that it's nothing for us. We should not be scared because we have a stronger power, stronger than mazel, and that is Torah, Tefillah, Teshuvah, Tzedakah. Elul is coming soon. V'af Rav Sovar, Rav is the second Amoira to support that concept of Ein Mazel Yisrael. Damar V'yudam Rav, Minayin Shen Mazel Yisrael. How do you know? How do you know that Israel are not so affected by mazel? Shenemar, it says about Avraham Avinu. He's the first Jew. He's a prototype for every Yid, every Jew. Shenemar, yeah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he promised Avraham Avinu that he will have children, he took him out. What do you mean he took him out? Took him out for a walk? Chalila, what does it mean? Amar Avraham Lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Gemara is now explaining the deeper sense of being taken out. Avram told the Kodesh Baruch Hu, Ribbon Shalom, Ben Beisi Yoresh. Now the word, will my Yoresh be Eliezer? Eliezer, with all due respect, was a very choshev a person, but he was an Oru. He didn't have a Simon Bracha. He wasn't a person who was supposed to continue the Jewish legacy of the Jewish nation for many reasons. We don't have enough time to go deep here. Eliezer was not supposed to be the real successor of Avraham Avinu. He was too much of a good kid. He was exactly like Avraham Avinu. Avram wanted something different. Amar loy, love, don't worry, says Hashem to Avram Avinu. No, ki asher yetzim imecha, the one who will come out of you, of mimecha, from the within you, from your innards, so to speak, the one who's going to come out from you, he'll be the one who'll be your successor. Amar lefanov, so Avram Avinu is telling Hashem, Ribbon Shalom, nistakalti b'tztaginus sheli, I saw my zodiac signs, I saw my tztagninus, I saw my, horoscope map, and according to my mazel, prescribed in Shemaim, in the mazel, I'm not supposed to have a son. Omer le, so now Kadosh Baruch Hu told him, get out of it. Snap out of it. Get out of your box of itztagninus. Get out of your mazel mindset. Not that it's nothing, but for you it's nothing. She'en mazel Yisrael, because Yisrael are above the mazel. They're above the stars in the horoscope. My daitich, what do you think? Because I know what you think. The kai tzedek b'marav. Tzedek was Avram Avinu's star. Yeah, Avram Avinu was born under Tzedek. He was a tzaddik, as we said. He was born under Tzedek, right? Jupiter. The kai tzedek b'marav. Now your Tzedek, maybe he means the time you were born or whatever that means. Tzedek is to the west. Now the west is a cold place. You have an issue because your star is in a cold place. We all know something cold cannot give birth, cannot generate. You want to generate something, you need heat. You're saying your mazel is stuck in the cold to give birth, to continue, to father, to beget, to create. You can't create through cold. It's always, you need warmth, like friction, like fire, like energy, like an engine. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will take the star Tzedek from the west and I'll put it in the east. East is a hot place. East is the very hot place, warm place, where things can be generated, can be created, and therefore now all will be well. Your own mazel will now move place to the east. Now you can give birth. This is what it says. Miheir mimizrach tzedek. Who is the one who woke up the tzedek, the Jupiter, that star from the east? He called him to come to the east. Come for him. Who is the one who said you should change your fate and your tzedek should move to the east? L'raglo means for him, for Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu, for him, Hashem literally changed the world, changed the mazel so strongly. Unbelievable. The pasuk continues, Yitin kafar charboy. Avraham Avinu had all these nisim, v'chule. Umi de Shmuel Nami. So far, we saw what? We saw two people, right, that are telling us, Ein Mazel Yisrael. We saw Rabbi Yochanan and Rav. They both say, Ein Mazel Yisrael. Opinion number 3, belonging to the same coalition of Ein Mazel Yisrael, is Shmuel. Umi de Shmuel Nami, Ein Mazel Yisrael. Shmuel too, he didn't say it. Mideh Shmuel means, from a story that happened to Shmuel, we can derive, we can deduce that really Shmuel also believes in Mazel Yisrael. What's the story? Famous story. The Shmuel ve'Avlat. Shmuel, had some kind of relationship with a goy by the name of Avlat. A lot of goyim had these names, Avlat, Sanblat. So Avlat was a very wise, considered to be an academic by the goyim, a wise person, and he was also an astrologer. He knew about the stars. Avu Yatvi, Shmuel and Avlat were sitting down together. They saw a group of men walking into the Agma, into the area where a lot of weeds, a lot of grass is growing. Omer Avlat Shmuel. Avlat told Shmuel. Avlat is now talking to Shmuel about that guy over there, and he says, "Hi Gavra, you see that guy over there? Azil v'lo osi. He's gonna go now. He's walking now to his death. He will not return. You know why? Tarik lechivya v'mais. A snake is going to bite him, and he's gonna die." Omer Shmuel. Shmuel responded. Shmuel didn't say it's nonsense, but Shmuel did say, very good. Ibar Israelu, if he's a Jew, that man, Azil ve'osi, he will go and come back. Says Rashi, Yoyiloi tefillah, because he's Jewish, the tefillah will help. Maybe Shmuel davened for him, and soon you're going to see that that Jew did a special extra mitzvah. The Jew has chusim. Don't tell me that the Jew is going to die, because he may do something good, tefillah, mitzvahs, and things can change always. Adayatvi, as they were sitting down, all of a sudden, Azil ve'osi, whoops, voila, that guy whom Avlat had very negative prognosis about, bad prophecy, he came back. He came back alive, all one piece. Come Avlat. So now Avlat was surprised. Avlat got up. Shadi letune. He basically emptied the content of his backpack. They all had, backpacks. They all had or a backpack or a bag. He threw the content of the bag of the survivor to the floor. Ashkach bechivya. He saw a snake in it. The nafik, the pasik, the shadi betarti guvi. There was cut into two pieces. Wow. They saw a snake that was cut and dead, obviously, cut into two pieces, which means the snake was about to threaten him. And Rashi says, those people, their job was, as I told you, the Agam is a place where a lot of, stuff is growing. They were cutting. They were like weed cutters. And he cut the snake without realizing that he's cutting the snake. Ein balanes makir beniso. He mamish killed his own enemy without even realizing. Omar leShmuel, Maya vadita. Shmuel knows. And Shmuel asked, what did you do? What was the good deed you do? What was the mitzvah you did to gain, to merit that? Omar le, so the man told him, every day we are being a bit of socialists, and what do? We all get the bread from each other. Every person brings his own bread, his own sandwich, and we all take them into one bag, which means instead of each guy eating his own sandwich, we all put our bread into one bowl, one bag, one something, and we all eat everyone's food. Ha'idna today, and there's always one guy, each time a different person, who takes the food, and he's like the Toran, as we'll call it in Hebrew. He's the person in charge of taking the bread from everybody and then dividing it by everybody. Ha'idna today, have a ikachad minan. There was one of us, says this is all the survivor talking, and one of us, the la'abele rifta, I noticed that he didn't have bread. Rifta, he didn't have bread. Hava kamichsaf. I saw that he was ashamed. He felt embarrassed. He doesn't have bread. He can't contribute to the rest. Amina lahu. So I told them, Anakaim navar mina. I will get up and I will arrange for that roster. I'll arrange for that, bread pickup. Kimatoy legabei. When I came to this guy, Shavoy nafshoy. Shavoy nafshoy. I pretended. I pretended as if I'm taking from him. I made this motion as if I'm taking bread from him to avoid embarrassment, so he should not be embarrassed. Omar le, so Shmuel told him, mitzvah avadata, you did a mitzvah. Oh, now I know why you survived. Now I know why you survived. Nofek Shmuel. Then Shmuel went out. V'dorash. Shmuel went out to town, went out to his Talmidim, and he darshaned. He basically gave the drosha, and he learned. The drosha just means drosha in public. Drosha means also he taught the inner meaning of the pasuk, and he said, "V'tzedakah tatzil mimoves." Yeah, the pasuk says, "V'tzedakah tatzil mimoves." Look at the whole pasuk. Lo yo'ilu oisos resha All the treasures of the wicked person won't help him. People can amass money, and kesef and geld and diamond and silver. Nothing doesn't help them. Now, what's the chiddush? It's a pasuk. The chiddush is the drosha. Veloi mimisa mishuna. It doesn't only mean that he's going to die, that tzedakah saves the person from a strange, gruesome kind of death. It doesn't mean that instead of dying with a horrible car accident or terror attack or falling off the roof, or that you're going to die in a nicer way. No, it means more than that. Elamimisa atzma. It saves the person from death itself, which means I don't mean that people should live forever. You give tzedakah. It means it prolongs a person's life. You're going to have more longevity. Let's say you're supposed to die today for whichever reason by the snake. Hashem is giving another lease on life for many more years because of the tzedakah. Tzedakah tatzil mimovis. Now continues another Gemara with opinion number 4. We're going now to the Tanoim. We had Rabbi Yochanan, Rav, and Shmuel. These are all the early Amoraim. All the early Amoraim say Ein Mazel Yisrael, and now Rabbi Kiva too, Ein Mazel Yisrael. What are you asking? Question time. Shavoi nafshe, he pretended. Shavoi nafshe asai tatzmo. He pretended, he made believe, as if he's taking the bread, but he didn't. Okay? No, he played around with it. He somehow, without anybody noticing, he faked it as if he's taking the bread from the bag. How did he do it technically? I don't know. He was a good actor. Umdar Rabbi Akiva Nami. Now, opinion. What? A very good question. Yes. Umdar Rabbi Akiva Nami. Another fourth opinion from Rabbi Akiva too. We can learn that Ein Mazel Yisrael. What's the story? Rabbi Akiva had a daughter. Amrile Kaldoi. Kaldoi were the Choizim B'Kachovim, the stargazers. They told Rabbi Akiva, that day that she's going to go to the chuppah, the day of her chuppah, Tarik L'chivya V'Misa. She's going to have a snake who's going to bite her, she's going to die. Hava the Iga Mil Satuva. Interesting. Rabbi Akiva did not take it lightly. Rabbi Akiva was worried about it, and he did. I don't know what he did about it. But Rabbi Akiva was concerned about it. Maybe davened for it. That makes sense. Came that day, that fateful day of her wedding. The day of the wedding came. After the chuppah, I guess when she went home with her new husband, she took the machbanta. She took a brooch, like a sika, a brooch with a sharp end, That's the beguda, and she stuck it at the wall. She's going to sleep. The wall next to her bed, I guess it was a wooden wall or with cracks. So she stuck the brooch in the wall. Itrami, Esiv Beine Dechivya came out that all of a sudden it stabbed a snake that was on the other side of the wall in the eye. That thing actually poked the snake in his eye. The Safra in the morning, Kika Shakla ala, she wanted to take out the brooch and basically retrieve it from the wall. The snake came along, already dead, don't worry. The snake, like whatever, came along with it. Oh wow, so she realized that her life was saved. Omar Lavua, her father, Rabbi Akiva, the great Rabbi Akiva, told her, Maya Vadet, what did you do? What was your good deed that gained you the right to live longer against the Mazel? Ein Mazel Yisrael, you did something l'malam min hateva. What was it, dear daughter? Amrale, she told him, Bepanya, in the evening. It's not so clear if this is before the wedding or at the wedding. But the evening before I went to sleep, at the time of the celebration or the preparation, also Anya, there was a poor man, Kara Abava, a poor man came and knocked on the door. He came at the door of where the chasana was going to be. Everybody was busy with a meal. Either everybody was busy eating the meal, or everybody was busy preparing the meal. Nobody heard him. So much commotion, chasana, big noise. You can't hear your friend talking next to the chasana, such loud music. So nobody could hear the poor man at the door. Ka'imna, she was sensitive enough to, yes, hear the knocking. Ka'imna, I got up myself, the kala. Shakalti l'ristenoi, or distenoi, my portion that I had from my own chasana, the yeyivatli, the portion of food that you, daddy, gave me, yavteni alei, I gave it to him. I gave up on my own portion of food of the chasana, the kala herself, for the poor man. Omar Lo, he told her, mitzvah avadet. Wow, you made it, you did a mitzvah, you committed a mitzvah, you performed a mitzvah. Very good. Now I know why you were granted, that miracle. Dafak Rabbi Akiva, v'doash, Rabbi Akiva came out with the drosha, with tzedakah tatzil limoves. Tzedakah saves from death. Tzedakah is literally a lifesaver. V'loi mimisa mishuna, not only from a strange type of death, meaning that you're not going to die in a strange way, but rather than nice, relatively clean death. Not only that, it literally saved the person's life. If she was a young kala, I'm sure she was a teenager. If she was a kala those days, and she was saved, she got another lease on life because of that. So far we have who's on our team? Rabbi Yochanan, Rav, Shmuel, Rabbi Akiva. They all believe Ein Mazel Israel. There is mazel, but you can overcome the mazel through tzedakah, mainly tzedakah tatzil limoves. Opinion number 5. Not opinion number 5. The fifth Heilige Amoira that also joins the group of those who believe Ein Mazel Yisrael. Who's number 5? Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak. Nami Ein Mazel Yisrael. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, he too exemplified the idea in his own life, from his own story. He is the one who also lived by Ein Mazel Yisrael. The image of Nachman bar Yitzchak. First wide line. Kuf Nun Vav Amud Beis, first wide line. The image of Nachman bar Yitzchak. The mother of Nachman bar Yitzchak. Amri Lakaldoi. Again, these are the astrologers, and they told her, Berich Gan V'Hava. Your son will be a thief. What does it mean he'll be a thief? We saw these things yesterday. He's going to be a womanizer. He's going to be this. He's going to be that. There's always Bechira Chofshis. There's always free will. But some people do have tendencies. One person is more stronger for women than another. Or for Gneva. So they said, from their Goyish point of view, they said he'll be a thief. So now she knew what to do. She prepared herself and she prepared her son. And she said, I'm not going to let this happen. So what did she do? How did she outsmart the astrology system, the Mazel? She did not let him go out or even be without a head cover. Here's one of the sources for what we wear on our heads, a kepale. Very, very nice. Wow. Akiva, you are the star of the show today. What stars? Akiva is a star. Akiva is making a nice point here. I'm sorry that I'm stopping, but I want to relate to the very, very beautiful point. We're looking here, Dafka, the very, very big tzaddik of Nachman bar Yitzchak and Amoiro. Dafka, the stronger the person, the weaker it can be. Kol hagodol mechaveroi, right? Yitzchak godol mimeno, it's at the end of Sukkah, Daf Nun Beis. The stronger the person, the bigger the person, the bigger the Yetzer Hara. It has to be a fair game. Yetzer Tov, Yetzer Hara. The two boxers on both sides of the ring, they have to be more or less same level. Otherwise, it's not a game. It's a joke. It's a dead giveaway. So therefore, Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, as great as he had somewhere in the stars, he's supposed to be a thief. So his mother wanted to be mechazik and strengthen his yiras shamayim by always making sure that he wears something over his head. Amalei, and she told him also, kasi reishich, cover your head. So you're going to have yiras shamayim. So if Tim McKenzie or Tom McKinley are asking you, what is this piece of on your head? It's supposed to, well, we hope it does, doesn't always work, but it's supposed to add yiras shamayim. We realize there's something above us. We're not, free birds running wherever we want. We have some kind of something over our head to enhance yiras shamayim. Ubay rachmi, and you should daven. You see, it's not enough to wear the kepale. or the yarmulke, or the whatever. Says Rashi, "Bakish rachem im shlosh lot b'chetzer hara." You have to daven. Yitzhar should not take control over you. That's what we daven every day, right? Every morning we say twice, "Shlosh lot yetzer hara." Lo havi yoda my komerly. His entire life, he didn't know, why is my mother saying this to me? The other mothers, they don't say that to their child. My mommy is always telling me to put on a kippah and daven to fight the Yetzer Hara. Why? Why me? He didn't know. Yeah. Yom Echad, until one day, Yom Echad, one day, Yosef, he was sitting down, Kagoris Tute Dikla, he was learning, where? Under the palm tree where the dates grow. Nofel glima milui reshe. All of a sudden, the glima, that cape, that head cover, fell from his head, right? And he was bareheaded by a complete mistake. Dali eine. He then he lifted his eyes. Chazel dikla. He saw the palm tree. Al meitzrei. The Yetzer Hara got stronger. The Yetzer Hara overpowered by the Yetzer Hara. Salik, he went up quickly, almost, as he's possessed. Salik, he went up. Paskel kibur b'shinei. He was so his Yetzer Hara to be what? A thief. It wasn't his palm tree, and he was such strong Yetzer Hara for theft. He quickly went up and he cut the cluster of dates with his teeth. He couldn't even wait to get some knife somewhere, which means his Yetzer Hara of theft was great. Very nice what you said. He was a great person, a great Yetzer Hara. Before he managed to pick up the kippah, right? The kippah kept him on the straight path, on the narrow path. Once he was off, boom, he went. He wanted to pick up the kippah. Eventually he did, to pick up the kippah, but then he understood at least why his mother told him, so firmly to always have a head cover on. How old? I don't know how old he was when that happened. That's a very good question. He was a little child. He was learning by his own for a long time under the tree. He wasn't a little kid. I don't know if he was 15 or 30. I don't know. But Lamaisa, at some point, he realized that mommy's always right. So Lamaisa, we have 1 against 5. So although what I said was yesh mazel and mazel zamachlokes, nevertheless, the more common opinion clearly is 5 different opinions of Tanaim and Amoraim say en mazel Yisrael, which means you can change your fate. You can change the destiny, the destination, whatever is prescribed to you from above, can change through your mitzvahs and ma'asim tovim, so never give up. So Ad Kan Hakof Aleph. Ad Kan is the first part of the Shir. Now we're going to the next Mishnah, the one, it's almost the last Mishnah, not the last one, second to last Mishnah. We are getting excited. We're about to finish. Anybody in Eretz Yisrael or Ramad Shemesh Wednesday, don't tell me you can't come, Akiva. Wednesday, 6:30 in my house. He's a siyum. Wednesday, 6:30 in my house over here, Nachal Lachish. Says the Heilige Mishnah. Be'ezras Hashem. We got to finish. We got to continue. Before we continue, this Mishnah is a beautiful, all Mishnahs are beautiful, is a beautiful summary of a very, very big topic that's been following us from Daf Yutes Amud Beis through many, many other Dapim, Kol HaKelim, in many places. The big machlokes between Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Yehuda regarding Muktzah. Rabbi Shimon has a very lenient opinion regarding Muktzah. Rabbi Yehuda is always stricter about Muktzah, and that has many different ramifications. And we're going to see today in the Mishnah in a way that summarizes a lot of that, many parts of that topic of Muktzah, Rabbi Shimon versus Rabbi Yehuda. Says the Mishnah, Mechatchin es dluin lifna behema. A person has dluin, pumpkins. A person has pumpkins. That's very nice that he has pumpkins. No, and he has animals. He has pumpkins, he has animals, but he also has himself. Friday afternoon, as Shabbos comes in, as the Queen Sabbath spreads its wings over the world, those dluim, you have those pumpkins in your kitchen. Who do you think the pumpkins are there for? For human beings. All of a sudden, your cow, your sheep, your hippopotamus, whoever eats the dluim, they get hungry. Are you allowed to change and take food that was originally meant for human beings and change its destination, ein mazel Yisrael, change its fate from animal food, from human food to animal food? The answer is yes, mechatchin. You're allowed to cut the dluim, you're allowed to cut and serve the dluim, the pumpkins, we're cutting them to the animal, meaning that follows more the opinion of Rab Shimon. Rab Shimon does not believe always in migodis katsoi, which we saw in Daf Mem Gimel. No, Rab Shimon says the Taz, the beginning of Shin Yudche, says it's not always true, but many times Rab Shimon says no. Even if the destination when Shabbos came in was X, I can change it into Y. Yes, I can. And that's what the Mishnah says. Moreover, second case, it's an nevela lifnei klovim. Wow. Let's say you had an animal, you had a cow, okay, and Shabbos came in, that cow was alive. What was my idea when I have a live cow? Let's say it's not for milking. What did I want it for? Yeah, for food, for myself. I'm going to shecht it on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and eat it. As Shabbos came in, it was meant for human beings. I can't shecht on Shabbos, but I can shecht it later. That's for human beings. Then the animal died, a natural death. Today, the animal died naturally without shchita. We all know that's called nevela. I can't eat it. Who can eat it? The klavim, Rexy and Boxy and Mixy, the dogs and Mackenzie, they can eat the nevela, and I'm allowed to again change because that was reserved for human beings, and it changed over Shabbos into something else. That could be noila, that could be again migodis katzoi. I'm not saying it's noila mamish, but possibly it's a change in the middle of Shabbos. Says Tanakama, yes, you can, and that follows very much Rab Shimon. Now, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, not surprisingly, Rabbi Yehuda argues. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, even though it's nevela me'erev Shabbos, asura. If it was not yet nevela, if it did not die and become nevela before Shabbos came in, asura, you're not allowed to give it to your dogs. Oh, it's not ready, which means, yeah, it's a kind of noilad, it's a kind of muktzah. In other words, if that animal was meant for human beings as Shabbos came in, and it changed its form in the middle of Shabbos, that's not muchan. What's the opposite of muchan? Muktzeh, or noilad, and therefore Rabbi Yehuda says, I don't allow that. It's true that Rabbi Yehuda doesn't talk about gluim, but according to many meforshim, he does. I mean, he's talking about nevela, but he means to include gluim as well. Some argue, but this is Poshup Pshat. Says the Gemara, Itmar. Now we're going to see something again very interesting. We're going to see two groups. Each group has 3 Amoraim in it. There are 3 Amoraim who vote for Rabbi Yehuda, and 3 of them like Rab Shimon. Let's see. Itmar, Arel, Shachaz, Siman. 3 Amoraim, Rosh Teves, Orel. The other 3 are Shachaz. Omer Ula. The first Amora to side with Rabbi Yehuda that does believe in Muktzeh more is Ula. Omer Ula, Halachik Rabbi Yehuda. Halachik Rabbi Yehuda. You have that change in the middle of Shabbos, too late. No, it was meant to be something on Erev Shabbos. That's the way it's going to be the entire Shabbos. Migodis katzoi, Halachik Rabbi Yehuda, and we follow Muktzah in a stricter form. V'af Rav, opinion number 2, Sova Halachik Rabbi Yehuda. How do you know the Rav holds a Rabbi Yehuda? Now, Rav didn't say it, but Rav paskin the Rabbi Yehuda with the karchi de zuzi, the Rav Osar Shmuel Shari, which means Rav, there was a case all the way in Daf Yutes Amud Beis. Karchi de zuzi or karchi de zugi, you know, they are machzelois, yeah, they are rugs or mats that are meant to cover schoiro. If you have a mat and when Shabbos came in, it covers your merchandise, you had no business and no thought of using it on Shabbos. As Shabbos came in, you're a soicher, and you want to cover the schoira, the merchandise. It shouldn't get dirty, it shouldn't get messy. You want to cover it with, and you did. You covered it on Friday, Shabbos Kodesh. You cover it with those mats, rugs. And what happens then? Oh, all of a sudden, in the middle of Shabbos, you said, "Oi, I need that mat to sit on. I want to feel Japanese. Let's sit on the rug." Yeah, are you allowed to do that? Rav says no. Because it was meant for X, you can't use it for Y. And Shmuel did allow it. Rav did not. Why? Rav follows Rabbi Yehuda, that if it's meant for one way, when Erev Shabbos, if Shabbos comes in, you can't change the purpose in the middle of Shabbos. Opinion, now, Amoira number 3 of the same coalition, Vaf Levi. Levi sover aloche Rabbi Yehuda. Levi also believed like Rabbi Yehuda, paskin like Rabbi Yehuda, that yesh muktzeh, and you can't change things around in the middle of Shabbos or even Yom Tov. Let's see. Kiyod Levi, what did Levi used to do? This is real life story from Levi. Kiyod Levi. Sometimes they would bring Levi. Levi was a poisek halacha, and they would sometimes bring him a behema with a suffix tarfus. In other words, it was a behema and was shechted, and they don't know if it's treif or kosher. The lung, the leg, many reasons why behema could be tarfus, terminally ill. So they used to bring it to the animal for him to paskin. They want to eat it now. In Yom Tov, he would refuse to look at the animal in paskin. Only when he was sitting on the ashpa. He would only sit at the garbage, at the pile, next to the garbage, not mamish bad garbage, only at the pile of refuse. Only there he would sit and paskin if the animal is kosher or not. Why? The Omar, because he said, wait, dil malom is kasha. Maybe the animal is not kosher. Now, if the animal is not kosher, what happens? You're not going to eat it. You're from Yid, Baruch Hashem. So you're going to give it to the dogs. I hold a Rabbi Yehuda. In other words, I don't want you to take it to carry home. He was concerned that some people don't follow him, la locho, and they would say, thank you, Rabbi. This animal is not kosher. We'll deal with it. Don't take it home to your dog. Because, one second. Because I follow Rabbi Yehuda and I hold you're not allowed to use it for the klovim. Therefore, he would throw it in the garbage right away. Nobody could take it. You understand, Akiva? Yeah? He would right away throw it there and then to the garbage, and then nobody would take it. Finished. If the dogs want to eat it now, fine, but it's not my business anymore. I don't want them to carry it home. It's muktzeh. Because once human beings can use it, you're changing it in the middle of Shabbos for animal food. And that ain't working according to Levi, who follows Rabbi Yehuda. So far, we had three opinions, right? We had Ula, we had Rav, and Levi. They follow who? They follow Rabbi Yehuda, the Chumrah. Now we have the other coalition, the other group. What? Ula, Rav, and Levi. The Shmuel Omar, now comes the second group. Shmuel Omar alochik Rabbi Shimon. Shmuel says, no, aloch is like Rabbi Shimon, as we saw in the story of the mats. If you have a mat that covers the schoiro in the middle of Shabbos, you feel like changing roles, changing hats, and use that rug for whatever you want, for sitting on, go ahead, says Shmuel. That's not muktzah. It's not sticks and stones. It's not osir. You're just changing the destiny, the purpose of the item. No problem. I follow Rabbi Shimon. Daf Zeiri. The second opinion is who Zeiri also follows Rabbi Shimon. Daf Zeiri saw Balochik Rabbi Shimon. Etnan. It says in the Mishnah, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's in Beitza. Let's check. It's in Beitza. A beima who died, a beima that died in the middle of Yom Tov, I guess, So now lois is enamim koimo. Oh, why? That seems to be dafka following Rabbi Yehuda. A beima that died, don't move it. You can't schlep it to the dog, to the kennel, to the dogs live. No. Why? That seems to be like Rabbi Yehuda. And as the Iri believes that the one who's correct is Rabbi Shimon. Ziri says, you know which animal is the animal you're not allowed to move when it comes to Yom Tov if he died in the middle, or Shabbos too. Behemoth's kochim. You had a behema that was originally meant for kochim. You were makdish it for whatever, shlomim, oila, and those things. Even after they die, you can't give them to the dogs, not even after you redeem them. It's a machloikis. Even if you mechalel the kedusha, you remove the kedusha, you can't give it to the dog. And anyways, on Yom Tov, you can't be mechalel. Tosfos says all that, You can't change it because it's kochim. Kochim you can't feed for the dog, chas v'sholem. Aval b'chulin shapir dami, which means the Iri made the Mishnah that seems to be like Rabbi Yehuda to be like Rabbi Shimon, that says if that animal was a regular behema, It's a regular Bessie and Lucy that grow up in your farm, and they were meant to be for human beings. And poof, they got a heart attack in the middle of Shabbos. And poof, the sugar went up in the middle of Shabbos, and they died in the middle of Shabbos. You can feed it to the dogs. You can schlep it to the dogs. Why? Because he holds like Rabbi Shimon that you're allowed to change hats in the middle of Shabbos. Now, opinion number, a moyer number 3 who follows Rabbi Shimon is Rabbi Yochanan. The Af Rabbi Yochanan Malochik Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Yochanan too says the Loch is like Rabbi Shimon. Would Rabbi Yochanan tell you halach is like Rabbi Shimon, that's lenient, that's makel about muktzah, that allows you to change the purpose of the item in the middle of Shabbos and schlep it, let's say, from human food to dog food? Rabbi Yochanan is the one who says the famous line, halach is stam mishnah. Halach is like stam mishnah, meaning when you have a mishnah that's anonymous, mishnah does not quote one opinion, just the Mishnah is just narrating the halacha, just, anonymously with no names. Then halacha would be like that opinion would be halacha l'maisa. V'tanan, it says in the Mishnah again in Sukkah, in Beitza, I think in Beitza, yes. It says there, ein mevakin eitzim in a koiros. It says, let's say, of koros, meaning you have beams of wood that are meant for what? Meant for building. You want to change your mind and all of a sudden use them and cut them on Yom Tov for firewood. Or you have a koiro. Let's say you have an old koiro. You have a beam that broke in the middle of Yom Tov. Beforehand, when Yom Tov came in, then it was meant for a koiro, your roof, your ceiling. All of a sudden, it broke. You want to change its purpose and schlep it to the fire on Yom Tov. You're not allowed to do it. That's obviously who? That's Rabbi Yehuda. So how can Rabbi Yochanan tell me like Rabbi Shimon? The Mishnah in Beitza seems to be saying bepashtus anonymously like Rabbi Yehuda. You're not allowed to change the fate, the purpose, the role of the wood from one to the other. Answers the Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan. Okay, Rabbi Yochanan learns that Mishnah, if you ask Rabbi Yochanan what was his version in the Mishnah, he would add the words, Omar Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda. He says it's not a Stam Mishnah. That Mishnah, the way it's written in our Mishnah is wrong. And I told you many times, we saw it already before, many times, Amiroim have the right not to argue with the Mishnah, they have the right to argue and say that the Mishnah that we have is not the right Mishnah. It's not the right Girsa. And that's what he does right here. He says, no, that Mishnah is Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda, and it's not. Yeah, good. Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda is a follower of Rabbi Yehuda, and that's why it says what he says. But I know the truth. I know that the Stam really is like Rabbi Shimon, and I follow Rabbi Shimon, and we have 3 people following Rabbi Shimon. Who are they? We have Shmuel, we have Zeiri, and we have Rabbi Yochanan. Yes?
Says he's gonna make.
Yeah.
More...
Oh no, because it's kochim. A regular bema, you are allowed to move mikoyim. Thank you very much, everybody. Tomorrow is the second to last year. Tomorrow we got to go to a lot of stuff. Kufran Zayin with Aleph. Tomorrow we're going to finish with Muktzeh and speak about Nedorim, which is this week's parsha. And then we have one more shir on Tuesday, and then see you on Wednesday. Be'ezras Hashem, we have to daven. We'll be matzliach. Not so simple. Thank you so much. Atzlocho v'rocha, Geula Shleima, Yeshuas v'nechamos. Thank you very much for everybody who participated. Shloach.